What's up, guys? Six Borough Podcast back at it again. We are brought to you today by Municipal Land Survey. You can reach them at 631-345-2658. We are also brought to you by AS Engineering Services. You can get them at 631-560-0259 and at www.asengineeringservices.com. We are also brought to you, as always, by Made to Thrive, an American t-shirt company. Check them out at www.madetothrive.us or on Instagram at madetothrive.us. Today's guest, we have Nick and Tony Sandalena. Nick is actually one of our first guests that we ever had on the podcast, and we brought him back on to discuss further his upcoming and now current trip that he's taking with his brother and his father across country on Ducatis, which is pretty fucking awesome. Really check it out. There's some really interesting stuff going on here. They talk about some of the places that they're going to be hitting, some of the camping that they're going to be doing, and really the whole drive behind the trip, and just kind of seizing destiny and really getting out of the ordinary and doing some really amazing stuff. It was a great conversation, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. All right, guys, we're live. Let's get into it.
D-Rock.
Fucking moron.
What?
You say the same thing every fucking episode.
D-Rock. Yeah, so I thought...
Six Borough Podcast.
I just get the Six Borough Podcast this time.
They know already?
I hope so.
If you don't know, now you know.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
True story. All right.
Our guest, Nick Sandalena, telling it like it is.
Hey, everybody.
Eric Ott. So our guests today are planning a motorcycle trip from Long Island to California, and they're leaving next week. They've got some really great stops planned along the way, and so they're here today to talk a little bit about their up-and-coming trip. We have Nick Sandalena, who is one of our original podcast guests at the first podcast, and then his younger brother Tony, both of whom will be riding Ducatis from New York to LA beginning next week, right?
If all goes to plan, Saturday morning, actually. So, like, next couple days.
That's pretty...
So, yeah, it's coming. We were already supposed to be on the road, but our mechanic, who was helping us out, just had his first son last week, so it kind of bottlenecked all his work at his shop, and everything got thrown back a couple days.
I can't prioritize.
And apparently,
your place is big.
Come on. Our priorities and his priorities obviously were a tad bit misaligned.
Yeah.
So we talked about the trip last time, though. We things have changed a little bit since then, though, because I decided that it was in my best interest to quit my job, and it was in my best interest to not come back from California.
Wow. Yeah.
So I just told my brother. I surprised him just a couple days ago.
For everyone that doesn't know, Tony already lives out in Los Angeles.
Yeah, been out there for about 7 months.
He's been out there for about 7 months, and we have a bunch of friends that are already out there. So now Nick will be moving out to join him.
I will. Spur of the moment. Fuck it. You'd only have one life to live, and I quit my job and I sold a bunch of stuff, and I'm just gonna hop on my bike and ship a box of clothes, and I don't have a job. I don't really have much of a plan, and I figure just fuck it, make it work.
There you go.
Kind of challenge myself and see what the fuck I could do, and just try to enjoy this thing called life.
Maybe you guys can get sponsored by Gold Bond.
Yes.
This long trip
yes.
out there.
The chafage factor, like when you look at the chart, chafage factor is in the red. So we're gonna
Definitely.
assless chaps are a must for ventilation.
Well, I think you might be onto something for what you can do when the trip is over.
Yes.
Maybe you can design a better assless chap.
Yeah. I'll be the spokesperson for Boom Tough Actington Acting.
Cross-country attire.
Not athlete's foot, not athlete's ass.
No, yeah, but we'll call it the testicle formula. We'll have to bring back something new. We'll blazing trails here across country.
I've actually seen assless chaps in real life, unfortunately.
Please,
Was it not
I
shocked?
hope that they were on a female.
They were on a dude.
It was Cherry Grove.
It was actually right next to Cherry Grove. It was in the Pines, and I got hired to do a security gig when I was in college, and they hired a bunch of bouncers through a security company that I worked for, and it was in an area of Fire Island called the Pines, which I didn't know was gay. None of us knew was gay until we got off the ferry, and we started seeing boats at where the ferry was pulling into like the docking area. We saw this giant boat, and it said "Wet Dream" was the name of one of them, and they were all different creatively named boats and lots of dudes. And we show up to this party, and it's called the Pines Party, and every year has a theme. And the theme this year was superheroes and like villains and all types of like television type characters. So sure enough, we were there, and next thing you know, to make a long story short, I'm having a conversation with a guy in his mid-50s and his husband, and they were cowboys wearing assless chaps.
But the real question, what did you dress up as?
Well, I was just wearing a security shirt,
Which they loved.
With assless chaps.
well, what's crazy is it was probably like the best costume there if I would have been gay, because it gave everyone like an excuse to come up to me and like talk to me and ask me where things were. Like, oh, where are the bathrooms? And I'm like, the bathrooms are right there with that giant bathroom sign. You didn't have to ask me that. So
Well, fuck, you've been here like 100 times. This is my first time here.
They were feeling you out. They
Yeah.
wanted to see what was up.
the same way that the security shirt works real good for you at a regular nightclub with the women.
So you were prime meat.
Yeah, it worked against me. It worked against me as the icebreaker at the gay club.
All right. Nice. Well, I'm not really going to focus on the homosexual crowd with my assless chaps. It's mostly going to be functional ventilation for adventure riding.
Okay.
I think that's going to be my target. My target audience is
marketing
functional
slogan.
ventilation for adventure riding.
It will be the middle-aged male focus group. They'll be your main. They'll be your main target
Demographic.
market.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
gonna be I mean, it's gonna be some nasty sacks. Don't get me wrong, but it's gonna help out a lot of people. You know, it's.
I know you're
You
moving.
brought me there. You brought me into this dark place. I didn't want to go here.
Well, it's not a dark place because they're assless, so you'll get a tan.
We shed
Yeah,
light
exactly.
on what's dark.
It'll be a little bit of like a string.
That's your tagline. See?
Shine light
We're
through the
making
darkness.
history right now.
You are built for marketing.
We are making history. I'm excited.
So have you looked into any specific gear regarding the trip? Did you guys get any specific gear to ride, either like wearing gear like assless chaps or gear for the bikes, like things like that? Start with like what you're wearing, what you guys are going to wear. Do you have rain gear and things?
We
or?
do. We both have Ducati rain gear. I know we got a seat for my bikes. I know my ass is going to be killing me on the Super Sport.
So you need like a softer?
So yeah, we all
a
kind
blow-up
of
seat.
we
cushion
upgraded
seat.
all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So he got the rain gear, the seats. We have all camping equipment. A tent, a cooler,
Grill.
a grill, everything that you could think of. We're like anticipating being outdoors multiple days in a row, like without having to like go indoors. It's
Gotcha.
part of what we want to accomplish with the trip. Camping at national parks throughout the way. We have our loose route, what we want to try to bite off each day to try to kind of manage it daily. Since we're not going to be riding much at night, we want to keep it to comfortable daytime riding. We all got luggage on the bikes, saddlebags, tail bags. It's ready. We're ready to go.
How much extra weight is going on each bike? Do you have like a roundabout amount, or
With both bags, maybe 30 to 40 pounds extra on each bike, and
Roughly.
hopefully it'll get us through, without having to worry about doing laundry or whatever. It's just a handful of like versatile outfits, just like 2 pairs of jeans, a couple t-shirts, a couple layers, a big jacket, a lighter like denim jacket or something, just to get through, because there's going to be some cold nights, there's going to be some rainy nights, there's going to be in the desert, it's going to be 110 degrees. Like, we really don't know what to expect. We know like the multitude of what we could expect, but until we go through it, we may not hit rain at all. We may hit 4 days straight of rain. We have no idea.
Prepare for everything.
No, it's kind of it's interesting because we were talking about this before. My father messaged me yesterday. We got delayed about a week, but right where we were supposed to be, right in like the middle of the country right now, which is Tornado Alley. There was 4 twisters just touched down right in our direct path.
Fuck all that.
Like where we're supposed to go. And I know last time we were talking about chance encounters in the universe, putting things in front of you, and everything happens for a reason. For the viewers that listen to episode 1, it's kind of what brought us to this trip to begin with. So that happened, which was kind of crazy. The fact that I'm still here for a major thing that happened for my house today. As far as the sale that we were talking about. I wasn't supposed to still be here. We were supposed to be gone. So I was able to, be there for something to happen with the house, avoid 4 tornadoes on the way, and hopefully miss all the rain, there was flash flooding all throughout. Directly where we were supposed to go is all these natural disasters that, within the next couple of days should be all cleared off. And then
you got to take that southern route, man.
We'll
Maybe
go
you got to
right
take
through.
that southern route.
The southern route is into Tornado
I mean,
Alley.
they're both.
It's deeper into
They're both,
Tornado.
yeah. The more southern road, you're right. It's dead.
Where exactly
right.
does the southern route go through, like Oklahoma or Texas?
Southern
Right,
route.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just like
I went
above
through
Texas.
Memphis, Virginia, Memphis, Dallas, went through that way.
Yeah, fuck all that.
So hopefully, weather permitting, we stick to our route. Our route's going to be pretty cool. We're taking Route 50 all the way, one road all the way across until we hit Colorado, and then we're going to deviate, go down south, hit a couple of the high rated national parks, then right to Utah, down to the Grand Canyon, depending on how much time we have left to get to California, either right over to LA, or we're going to go north to Yellowstone, through Yellowstone, San Francisco, and then back down to LA.
Go through Yellowstone.
Yeah,
Everything.
I would definitely do that.
If we have an extra couple days, we have to figure it out as we get closer to it, because he's got to get back
I might
to work.
have to
He
get
has a life that's been kind of delayed by my crazy.
How dare you?
I told my boss I was gonna be gone 2 weeks. It's pushing 4 now. So yeah, exactly. So they're not very happy with me right now.
to touch on what you said before, though, we were telling you about our friend. Well, our friend at this point, Guas, who did the whole cross country trip. But he did say
Was
that
he in a van or something? Was that
he
the
had
guy
his FJ Cruiser that he
There you
went
go.
through. But he camped at state
Badlands,
parks,
yeah,
national parks.
yeah.
But he did say there
Zion.
was
Zion? We're gonna do Zion. That's in Utah.
places to do laundry.
Yeah.
He did find spots to shower and do laundry in some places. So
Well, yeah. I mean, we're hoping at the the parks and stuff.
Well,
There'll be
that's what he
showers.
said.
yeah, there will be. So you'll have
Yeah.
that opportunity if you need to do some laundry
Yeah.
at least. So it's not, you won't be as
Right.
for lack
As
of a better
rough,
word,
yeah.
assed out.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's a good point, and it's cool because the route that we decided to take even beforehand. I was telling my brother this the other day. I think there's 60 national parks in the country, if I'm not mistaken, and I was reading an article where they ranked them, from
Top to bottom.
least desirable or best traveled to from lowest to highest, and out of the top 10. There are 6 of them that are directly in our route on our way there.
That's awesome.
So we're gonna, try to hit, 6 out of the top 10 national parks and stay there, for the night and do a little hiking here and there, take some pictures, and be on our way. So it's gonna be a pretty cool trip.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And just based on what Guas, our buddy, had said about Yosemite, I've never been there, but based on what he said, it's worth the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. He raved about Yosemite.
Yeah.
And I think we might have even showed you his Instagram. If you go look
I
through
started following. With
he
him
posts a
last
picture
time.
about from Yosemite all the time
Yeah.
because he was obsessed with it. So
Yeah.
if you get the chance, it's probably worth
So
it.
we're trying to, we're trying to make sure that everything that's desirable within our path, we make it happen. Because it's, you don't do this trip, and actually I don't even know if we really explained it the full trip last time. My father's coming with us also, so it's going to be me, my little brother, and my father, and it's a cool trip. We'll never be able to do it again. More than likely, we're never going to be able to do it again. Oh, yeah, he actually just liked one of my pictures today.
Yeah, that's Yosemite. This one right here. Yeah, everything he posts is Yosemite.
Yeah, it's dope.
I think the other one too is Yosemite. Everything.
That's
on
from
there.
John Muir. That's the Muir Trail probably that he's on, or a piece of the Muir.
Yeah.
For anyone that's interested, check out Revamped Reality, all one word, on Instagram. That's our buddy Guas, and he's a phenomenal photographer. He's always able to capture the moment of these super serene perspectives. And I mean, his Instagram is nothing short of amazing. I mean, that picture looks biblical of the cave with the sun coming through.
Look at that. That's Yellowstone. I mean, like
a bunch of bison by like a steaming geyser. I mean,
yeah, you don't get to see that every day.
Yeah, no, it's something you'd see in a movie and you'd be like, oh, it's like special effects.
Exactly. Yeah. He started following me this morning. That's what it was. He didn't like me. He started following.
I was telling him about you actually. Cool. Yeah, because we were talking about because he went back, and listened to like all the other podcasts, and he listened to you and Ivan's, and he texted me about it.
Cool.
And I was telling him about you. I was telling him about you guys' trip.
Yeah.
And he was pretty into it. Yeah.
Cool.
And he's funny because he did the first 2 weeks of his trip with his father also.
Oh, nice.
So you guys have a couple little parallels there. I mean, he didn't ride a motorcycle, but you know.
But he did it. No, it's definitely one of those things that, you know, if you could do it, like everyone, you know, kind of has like one of those cross country trips. I know we were just, you know, behind the scenes talking about something cool you were doing, Eric, but you know.
Yeah, you know what?
Everyone's
yours
got
is going to
stories.
involve ashless chaps, and Eric's involves spandex. Go figure.
Yeah, right. I mean, we're all visionaries in our own right.
So what spurred you on to decide? Because I know when we first spoke last, you know, you were juggling the idea of like, man, maybe I should just fucking quit my job and live out there and this and that. So what was the turning point, or was there one? Was it just a gradual progression, or something happened that you're like, yeah, fuck it?
It's been something on my mind for a long time. Like, I've been writing about it and just trying to like figure it out. Like the whole question, like, are we doing it right? You know, what are we doing with our lives? Like, I think we kind of spurred off on a tangent last time we were talking about that. Like, who knows what's right or what's wrong? You just like understand what you feel and you want to pursue it. So reaching the age that I'm at right now, I'm in, you know, almost my mid-30s. I'm single. I don't have any children. I wasn't at a job that I really enjoyed, and I would always kind of joke around and say, just leave me somewhere with my motorcycle, and that's really all I need. Like, I'll start fresh. I'll just, you know, challenge myself to see, to see what I'm capable of. And when I got to the realization that that's kind of what I was gonna be doing, I was gonna be on the complete opposite coast from where I spent my entire life, with nothing but my motorcycle and my brother with me. I figured this is it. This is the opportunity that the universe is giving me. Like, there's no better time but now. You don't have any responsibilities. You don't have anything you're passionate about holding you there. So why the fuck not?
So
why not? So
it's more just cooking in your brain.
It's been cooking for a long time, but I never thought that, like, you know, reality would allow me to break that normal 9 to 5 bullshit routine to really just go off and be a nomad and pursue what can make me happy.
So, like, I guess the closer the trip got to becoming reality, the more you were just like, fuck it.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck am I going to come back to, like a routine that I didn't enjoy? Like, why? You know, me and my brother, you know, we grew up together. We're like best friends. And
how old are you?
I'm 25.
He's 25. I'm 33. So, you know, we've done a lot together. We traveled together. We played, you know, paintball all over the country together. You know, and it kind of sucked having him over there. And, you know, I was jealous. You know, I wanted to be with him. You know, I wanted to be with him. I wanted to experience like this part of life, being like, you know, up and moving, you know, somewhere else, and, you know, being your own person and starting fresh with no friends or family. Really, you know, was like intoxicating to me. And I said, yeah, I'd fucking love to be there. So I sat there at my desk and I fucking cried for like 2 weeks trying to figure it out in my head. My coworkers would say, what the fuck's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm good. I'm just good, leave me alone. And so finally I just sat down with my boss, and I talked to him before about, you know, life and happiness and, you know, all that bullshit. So he kind of knew that my head wasn't completely in the game, and I sat down and said, I'm doing this trip with my brother and my father, and I've been thinking about it a lot. I'm not coming back. You know, I want to give you ample time to close out any work that I'm working on. I'll give you 2 weeks, but I got to do it. I got to do it for myself. And he was supportive. He thought it was a good idea. He thought I was absolutely crazy. And I said, you're right, I'm crazy, but this decision isn't motivated by money in the slightest. Money will come and go, but this is just the right time for me. If I don't do it now, I'm going to fucking regret it for the rest of my life.
I got to catch the whisper train to Boohoo Town.
Yeah, I was an emotional fucking mess. It was hard for me to get to that point, and he was cool about it. He's like, yeah, man, when you know, if you come back, just give me a call. Maybe I'll give you a job back.
That's cool.
You're like, I don't want my job
I was like,
back,
cool.
but-
I was like, I appreciate the safety that, that kind of does feel good. That if in a jam I can come back and get a job, but I'm not coming back. This job is what made me want to fucking quit and run 3,000 miles away. It made me realize what I don't want to do with the rest of my life.
Tony, what'd you move out there for?
Honestly, I graduated college. I came back. I was working a dead-end job. I was just tired of cold weather and angry people. So I decided to get my best friend that I've known since the 6th grade, hopped in the car, just drove out there, just figure it out. Yeah. Ended up staying in a hotel for, I think it was like a month and a half. Me and this kid bunked up in the same hotel, trying to find. We've had a job. I got a job the first day in LA when we drove out there. So we were just going to work every day, going back to the hotel, looking for apartments to rent and stuff like that. And that went on for about a month and a half till we found an apartment. And
what job did you guys get?
My first day in LA, I got a job at a butcher shop at the LA Grove. Yeah, so I just started cutting meat, which is actually a
Did you have
pretty good
experience
job.
prior to that?
I cut meat at my buddy's shop here for like
Okay.
on the weekends and stuff, but I didn't have that much experience. No, but they told me everything, and yeah, I eat good. What I mean, so I don't get paid what I want to get paid, but I'm taking home some good food too. So
Do they like New York workers there because you guys have much more of a work ethic than other
100%.
people? They dig that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. They say it all the time. It's like, you guys, you have to slow down, and I'm just like, no, that's not happening. Yeah, like,
I've had that same experience. I was traveling for work and I was in Tampa, and I was at a nightclub just hanging out, and somebody asked me like, "Oh, what do you do for work?" And at the time, I was working for a surveying and engineering company, but I was going to grad school. I was finishing up my grad school degree in finance, and the guy I was speaking with, he said, "Oh, I'm a big wig. I work for a bank called SunTrust Bank." He's like, "I'm from New York." He's actually from Long Island originally, so we sort of had like that connection. And he said he said, "I try to convince everybody I know that was in the industry from Long Island to come down here because you can't find good employees outside of New York." And he's like, we were in Tampa, and he's like rolling his eyes. He's like, I'll interview like 20, 30 people, and I can't find anybody that's half as good as like a slow person from New York.
yeah,
Let alone a good person.
Oh, absolutely. Like I just told you, this trip was supposed to take 2 weeks, and now I'm taking 4 weeks. Normally, you can't tell your boss that you're going to get fired for something like that.
Yeah.
My boss loves me. He doesn't want to get rid of me. So he's like, okay, we'll talk about it when you get back.
Let's try to give him a little tough
Yeah,
love.
exactly. But no, yeah, I've noticed. I'm actually also doing grip work out there, and I've never done grip work before. So I have
Can you explain what grip work is?
grip. Oh yeah, for people who don't know, grip
There's
work.
movie sets.
Yeah, for like
building-
behind the scenes for movie sets, building for music videos or other movies and stuff
So
like
you're
that.
building the sets?
Yeah, like for like lightings for different scenes, or if you have like a
Cool.
bus scene, we set that all up and stuff. And I've never done that before, but just for the fact that I'm from New York and I hustle a lot and I'll run around and I even if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm still going at 100%. They love that. They eat that up.
Interesting story about that, because I had the exact opposite experience doing grip work.
Okay.
So, and it's funny how this is all going to tie in. I'll start with this. One of my closest friends, my buddy Dave Sorensen, he went to the New York Film Academy about 10 years. You know Sorensen, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm shaking my head.
Okay, that's right. I forgot.
I
'cause
went
you guys
to the
know him
premiere.
through
I saw
Ivan.
the premiere at
Oh yeah,
Island
Gutters.
16.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was there. So this is funny how this intersects. So Dave and a couple of my friends went to the New York Film Academy, and he did, they get into the movie business, this and that. One of my close friends, my friend Will, him and his father, work as carpenters for Silver Cup Studios. Will's dad is he's like king shit of fuck mountain.
Silver Cup?
It's Silver Cup when it comes to like carpentry. He runs crews. He has his partner running other crews. So they had some ins, and every now and then we would work. And me and Dave got hired to do grip work. Probably in about 2007, we were working on the set of Kashmir Mafia. And me and Dave grew up working for his dad's industrial battery company, and it was like a hustle job. And I remember being 18 working for them, and it was like you weren't moving fast enough ever. So me and Dave had that work ethic. We show up, and the grips are unions, So we're hustling, and we're thinking we're making a good impression.
You're making the union guys look bad.
Dude, yeah, we're sweating.
They hate that.
The union guys are like, listen, you need to slow the fuck down.
We get paid by the hour.
Yeah.
Well,
And then the head of, I think he was like the head either of the set or I don't know if it was the union or, but he was like higher up. And he was like, "Whoa, you guys are sweating." And we were like, "Yeah." He's like, "I've never seen that." And we were like, "Huh? Like this is normal to sweat, like what we were doing."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Guys, take it easy, like relax a little bit." You know, like he was telling us to slow down. And then the guys were working with like, "Listen, this is not how we do it around here. Slow the fuck down." Needless to say, we never got invited back
No, probably not.
because we worked a little too hard.
I've
You're
actually heard
rocking
that
the
over
boat.
there too.
Yeah.
Also, like people saying that, like if you're not from that job and you hop on a crew of guys and you're working hard to them and you make them look bad,
Yeah.
you're not coming back. Yeah,
No.
you're not coming
No.
back.
They don't want you to
Here-
rock the boat.
Here's the other little funny bit about this. Dave, 4 years ago, he was working at Silver Cup. He had a PA job. Was like, I need to get out of here. Picked up and moved. Drove to California. Has been living there ever since. And he's now working for Marvel.
The Marvel movies. Yeah.
Really?
I see him.
Yeah.
He puts stuff
Wow.
up on his
Yeah.
Facebook. Yeah, it's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Cool.
he might
Actually,
be.
I'm gonna hit him up when I
I
get
was just
there.
gonna say, you guys might want to get
Yeah.
in touch with him because if you're in the similar industry, you guys might be able to link up and help each other out.
Yeah, that'd be
you know,
awesome.
and it's pretty funny how your guys' stories intersect a little bit
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So, and yeah, I forgot that because he worked with Ivan and you
Yeah.
back in the day. I forgot
Yeah,
about
like
that.
early on, doing some stuff. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
going to it was at Island 16.
Yeah,
that premiere.
Gutters. I took
Yeah.
my mom there. I took my mom. My mom was my date for that because it was on her birthday.
Oh, that's
it was
cool.
it was December 7th, like 2010 or something like that.
Yeah, it was at least 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, maybe even more. Maybe 2009 actually.
That's
I think.
crazy.
So yeah, but it's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah, so maybe check out Dave Sorensen and link up with him while you're
Yeah,
out there
absolutely.
because
Give him some of that New York work ethic.
Yeah, so, yeah, and it's funny because my head grip guy, he's from New York as well,
Is
so
he?
he's like he loves it. You know what I mean? Because handling with all the people from California, they're slow, they don't want to work much, so it's.
Yeah.
how did
Right
you
there.
how did you get that? Was it just by chance or?
Well, his fiance, I know from Long Island. It's actually one of Nick's friends, or a girl by named by Lillian. So I linked up with her, started talking to her, letting her know that I did construction when I was back here, and see if she had a job that would probably help out because she does that as well.
Right.
So she looked me up with Sergio and just started working there from there. So,
Interesting.
yeah,
Just friends helping friends, man.
friends helping friends.
That's it.
Yeah,
People
man.
helping people.
Yeah, it all works out. And I'm
Holy
not,
shirts and pants.
Holy shirts and pants.
People helping people.
It's a fully sustainable scallop farm.
A self-sustaining.
Self-sustaining scallop farm.
farm.
Say that 3 times fast. Still says scallop farm.
Someone's got to pay for the lap dances for the big guy. He's joking. Yes, I'll go with jokes.
I'm not like because of that reason. I'm not even concerned with like worrying about work when I get out there. I'm kind of excited to see what I can like kind of like build for myself. Like I'm not concerned about it at all. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go right into a motorcycle dealership and say I just rode my motorcycle from New York and I quit my job and I got nothing. Like, what's up?
What's up?
Put me on the sales floor. I have a background in sales. Like, let me sell. Part time. I only want 3 days a week.
Yeah.
I don't plan on getting a job. I want to spend most of the summer not doing anything. So if I can
Not
get a bullshit
bad.
job, in some sales position, selling something that I like, and just get through the summer and just enjoy myself, then mission accomplished. So that's kind of the mindset that I'm going in with. And say, fuck you guys. It'd be great to have me. Let's do
It's a
it.
good sales pitch right there.
You guys
I
would be
just sold you on the shop. When do I start?
When do I start?
You guys would be better off with me doing this for you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Look how fantastic my hair is, motherfucker. I'm going to sell motorcycles.
I just came off the cross country ride. Look at this hair. Bang.
Just that the helmet off, the dramatic shake. You guys can't see me, but I'm dramatically shaking my hair like Fabio. And
Feathered and lethal. You just don't see that anymore.
As far as pertaining to like jobs and the search for jobs, one thing a friend of mine said a few years ago, someone who's fairly successful, and I remember I was sort of at like a crossroads and I was making a career change at the time, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, and this guy's name is Ray, and Ray looked at me and he's like, Eric, for guys like us, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be opportunities for people that have like, they're intelligent and they have a little bit of work ethic. Like, there's always going to be jobs for people like us. Because we're not looking to get a job and then just bilk it and do as little as possible and get by. We're the types that go out there. We want a challenging career or some type of challenging project to work on because we want to feel accomplished at the end of the day. We just don't want to feel like, oh, well, I sat there and I did as little as I could for 8 hours and I preserved myself. I'm like the type that I like go out there and I'll give a little bit I'll give a finger or two to feel like I accomplished something at the end of the year.
Like that's big. That sense of accomplishment, or that sense of just like
It's
you've done
self-worth.
like you've
It's
done
it's
something
self-worth.
you've done something that affect other people like in a positive way.
Your work has to matter because otherwise, what are you doing?
That's where I was. I was fucking just aggravated every day. I couldn't focus on my work. I mean, people make careers out of what I was doing. I was in estimating and project managing for commercial construction. It was a great career path if I wanted to buckle down and do it, but I didn't want to do it. I couldn't. I went into the opportunity looking at it like I could be proud of this. Like I could be part of large projects in Manhattan. I could look back at this and show this off to my friends and family and be proud of this. But the day-to-day sitting in front of a computer and staring at blueprints and math and formulas all day long, it was self-defeating. Like every day I'd walk out of the office like, what am I doing? I don't enjoy this.
Yeah.
The thing is, nobody really wants to do that. They do that because they're in a position in life where they have to.
They have to.
Like you have a couple of kids, and you know what? You got this job that it's impressive when you tell other people it pays better than all of your other jobs that you've had in the past, or it pays a little bit more, and you have some opportunities like, oh, if I do this for a couple of years, I get good at it, I'll be making X amount of dollars.
Sure.
But like realistically, if you laid out 10 career choices, or somebody said, all right, come up with 10 career choices, and then I'm going to pick one of them for you, and you got to choose like 10 career choices, that probably wouldn't be one of your 10.
No, I wouldn't want to be a project manager for a union construction company.
Yeah, exactly.
That wouldn't make top 25.
No, it might not even make a list of top 100.
I'll sell umbrellas on the beach before
Exactly.
I did that.
But I'll tell you that. Not to say that no one wants that, because I'm sure there are people.
There are people that went to school for it.
People that went to school for that, and they're
Absolutely.
passionate about it,
You're
and
right.
they love it. People that would choose that as a second career. Somebody that might have been in a career
1,000%
that you wanted to do, and they're like, "Fuck, I don't want to sell umbrellas on the beach anymore. Like this sucks. I don't want to be a motorcycle salesman.
There's always that
I guess
alternate.
everybody's different.
Yeah.
There's always that alternate
And
perspective.
everyone at this table has like a similar mindset, so that may be why I'm thinking like, nobody would ever want that job. But for some people are just happy to have a job that they can live on and live comfortably on and not have to worry, and that makes their day. You know what? I feel, I don't want to say that like I feel bad. I'm not one of them. But I know people like that. They just want to sort of get by. They want to, what am I doing this weekend? Oh, this movie comes out, and then there's like a football game on Sunday.
It's very easy. It's
And
very
then I'll
easy
go
to
back
get
to
caught up in
work.
that.
Comfortability. They want to be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I understand why people do that too, because a lot of how we are molded, for lack of a better word, through the school system and just societal influences. It's
Security.
like, that's the path you want to take. And
Safer, smarter.
there's a quote that I heard a long time ago from Machiavelli, actually, and I think it kind of fits this, like what you're talking about, how it's something you could be proud of. It's like this. You tell most people, oh, what do you do? And it's like, oh, wow, that's an interesting job. It's a good job. This guy must be
It's
successful.
impressive.
Yeah.
It's not, and the quote is this: it's not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. And I think that kind of makes sense in this particular thing. It's like you get, I'm a project manager for this, and it's impressive.
Yeah.
Sounds
It is.
prestigious.
It sounds prestigious. It sounds
Yeah.
like, wow,
Yeah.
this is a big thing. But like, what does it mean if it doesn't mean anything to you?
Exactly.
It doesn't mean anything.
And
It might
felt-
mean a lot to other people, and it seems impressive. But if it doesn't mean anything to you, then it's worthless.
Yeah, and at first it did. Going from like a lower level sales position, then working my way just by chance, by just building a relationship with the owner of the company that I worked for, and he gave me the opportunity to be in this position that a lot of people, they go through school for architecture and engineering, and they look for jobs like this.
Yeah.
And I dropped out of college. I just happened to have
Stumbled
good.
into that?
I just happened to have good, good people skills, and I built a relationship with the guy. When I reached out to him, he was like, "Yeah, you possess certain things that I can't teach. I could teach you all this other shit, but your character, your work ethic, the way you're able to talk to people, I can't teach that. So let's give it a shot." And I love the fact that I could take a set of blueprints 1,000 pages deep, and you asked me to find something, I can navigate it like a treasure map. It's a good skill to have.
Sure.
And it's something that could translate, to the West Coast or anywhere. Having 2 solid years of commercial construction under your belt. But I'm not passionate. I say it. I said I enjoyed what I did as a vanity, to impress other people. I wasn't really impressed with it because I knew what I did every day, and it wasn't glamorous, and I didn't love it. So that went into my thought process. I don't think if I sat there and I loved what I did every day, we would even be talking about this.
Yeah, you'd be ecstatic about what you.
I love what I'm doing, and I'm down a good career path, and I can support my future family if I just let that one day.
I sort of resonated with me when you mentioned that, like, it seemed prestigious to everybody else that you told, and it was like a vanity type thing.
Yeah.
But the day to day you hated. I had a career doing something similar. I worked for a large investment bank, and to everybody else, I was super successful, except I hated what I did every day, and the day to day was horrible, and the amount of pressure that they was put on me to do unethical things made the job unpleasant for me. And everybody else, all the family members, the extended family, the wife's family, it was, look at Eric, he's doing real well for himself. He's with this super prestigious firm that everybody, you throw the name around, everybody on the whole planet has heard of the company that he works for. And, the next stop is the stars and then the moon. And the whole time that I would sit there on my desk in my office, I just think, like, fuck, I'd look at the clock every minute and I would just think, I can't wait to get out of here and pretend that this isn't what I do for a living.
I think that goes back to this quote, and that it kind of always stuck with me. It's that it's true. It's not titles that honor men, it's men that honor titles. And it kind of goes back to, like, that we're all, I don't know if it's a programming thing or if it's just inherent in humans, but we all crave that, like, approval, that whole, like, oh, look at me kind of thing.
Sure, the competition in life, like, it's real. It goes from a primal thing to
you want that. You want that. You want that prestige. You want that
guy.
Yeah,
everyone wants to be that guy.
You want to be looked at like, oh yeah, look, all these people are impressed by me because of my title or whatever it is, and everybody has that in one way or another.
Nobody wants to be subpar. You don't set out to be subpar.
I don't even know that it's just that either, though. I just kind of, it's like, that's what I mean. I don't know. I haven't figured out if it's a programming thing. It's just like the world that we live in, that we're programmed into that.
I think, we're definitely programmed just by our parents and society. Like you were saying earlier, like, everyone gets in these jobs that they're comfortable with or they're safe with, and they can pay their bills. And I've spoken with my parents about it, and my parents were, like, first generation born here. My family's from Germany, and they came over after all the depressions and all the wars. And all my grandparents, they raised my parents with the idea and the mindset of just get yourself to a position where you can get a job and you can pay your bills, because we didn't have that in Germany. The country was depressed, and it was like during the Weimar Republic. And
that's the scarcity mentality that they came out of. We don't have that.
That's exactly what it was. It was the scarcity mentality. There's nothing here, and you need to get yourself a skill set that will allow you to survive, so you don't have to worry.
Get into a safe trade where you could collect a check and raise a family. Mm-hmm. And when I was trying to tell my mother about this trip, and she actually said she's interested in listening, so... Hi, Mom. Say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Nick and Tony are going to be developing assless chats.
You got to tell me what point we're into this so I can tell her to start listening at minute 39. Please disregard the first 38 and a half minutes, Mother. But, like the generation before us, now that we're at a really interesting time in life where it's shifting away from that mentality. Millennials don't really strive that much to have that normal security or those material things that the generation before us held so high. So when I told my mother that I had X amount of money to go out there with, and I didn't have a plan, and I didn't have a job, she was terrified. Mm-hmm. She was scared for me. I'm like, I'm not scared. I'll be okay. My skills or whatever it is, the mentality in me to succeed, I will be fine.
Well, you believe in yourself.
I believe in myself, and I believe that in today's day and age, there's so many interesting ways to earn money, whether it be through the internet or whatever sort of obscure thing that you could find to make money.
We just talked about this last night.
Did you?
It's so funny that you say this. Our guest last night, yeah.
And really, what we had kind of come to and talked about was, your brother's younger than us, but our age, we're not technically millennials, but we're like the in between,
like the grays.
Yeah, but it when the economy dropped out and everything. You know, a college degree doesn't mean what it used to.
Yeah.
It used to be. That was everything that we were pushed towards. It was. You finish high school,
That was
you
the
go to
light at the
college.
end of the tunnel. Yeah,
It was
light at the end of the tunnel.
it was almost looked down on. Like, if you were like, I'm gonna become a trader, I'm gonna become a plumber, or I'm a carpenter, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, people would be like, why would you do that?
And what's crazy is all of my friends that's fathers got them into unions when they were 18 right out of high school,
Yeah.
all own multiple houses right now, and they're the most financially successful out of everyone I know.
We were the generation that came up getting told, like, what do you want to do? Serve fries for a living?
Yep,
You know,
you got to
like-
go to college,
Yeah.
and then you got to get a job. You got to become a police officer.
Well,
You
it
have
wasn't, even,
to.
it wasn't even the police. Like, it was always that. Oh, you need
A
to
teacher.
be. That's what. There's a million teachers now.
You have to
do your
work
job.
hard
You have to-
towards the trade that's going to, set
Right,
you up
yeah,
for the
you
rest
need,
of your
you
life.
need to be, college educated. That's the only way you're going to get a job. You have to go down this road. Like, if you deviate from this, if you become an entrepreneur, or if you get a trade, or that's not going to work out for you.
Yeah.
There's too many carpenters. There's too many plumbers.
Yeah.
You can't do those
And
things.
now, and right now, there aren't enough in New York.
Because all
hard
that
to
work's
get
been
them.
demonized. We got raised like, oh, what do you want to do? What do you want to be a plumber for them, or do you want to be
Yeah.
a garbage man? And
Yeah.
like that work has been demonized. But it's like
I have a
there's
friend named Will. He's one of the most financially successful people that I know, and he's a plumber. He's in
Yeah.
a union, and he owns a company, and he does very, very well for himself. Works very hard,
Yeah.
but it's very difficult to even get him to come work on any of the projects I have going on, because he's usually so backed up that he's coming and, oh, Eric, could you leave a key for me because I need to come on Saturday night, and he's spending his Saturday nights doing work for his
Hustling.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's
He's
a
so
nice
back
guy,
up, yeah.
and he's helping me out, but he could easily just say no and tell me I'm 6 weeks down the road.
Yeah. But things like that too. It's twofold for me. It's like, no pun intended here, but how shitty would the CEO's life be if there was no plumbers? The rich CEO, if there's no plumber to come fix the problem in your fucking mansion, you're not going to be too pleased.
It's a delicate ecosystem.
Right.
Yeah.
And not only that, like I said, growing up hearing, if you don't do well in school and go to college and follow this path that everybody wants you to follow, that you're going to end up in some subpar job. And it's like, now, I'm not trying to pass judgment on younger generations, but I do see sometimes there's kids out there who don't want to work, and there's people out there who don't want to work, and it's like, to me, it's the same people complaining about, like, even like, to take it another direction, this might not be very true, but you hear echoes of it. It's like, oh, these immigrants are coming and taking our jobs. It's like, well, guess what? Because your kids were told by you, what do you want to do? Mow lawns the rest of your life? So they're not taking those jobs.
Yeah.
So someone's going to come fucking take that job.
They
And
think
it's,
they're above it.
yeah, you demonize the work,
Yeah.
and now it's not going to get done, and you
then they
complain
take
about
our
people taking your jobs. It's like, they're not
Taking
taking.
our jobs.
No one's taking a job. You fucking left
Fuck
it.
it, you left it there.
Exactly.
I live in a neighborhood with 18 or 20 houses. My whole neighborhood is filled with teenage kids. The majority of the people that live in the neighborhood are in their 40s and 50s. And when I tell you, every time it snows, not one kid comes around to ask to shovel the
to-
driveway.
yeah,
I used to hustle
break
and make-
leaves.
Yeah, nobody does it anymore.
Yeah.
Dollar signs. Every time there was like a snow report coming when I was a kid,
Yeah.
there would be dollar signs in my eyes. And if it was like during the week, I'd say, oh man, I could stay home from school and make money. It was like a double
Yeah.
I used to
whammy.
get my friends together. We're like, all right, we're gonna hit this whole block. We're
Yeah.
gonna walk up the block,
And you'd come home the next day from fucking KV Toys with those new PlayStation
Yeah,
games,
yeah.
and it was fucking worth it.
Nintendo 64,
Yeah.
GoldenEye.
There you go.
I'll tell you what's even worse than just them looking to make the money is how many of them. My neighbor, when I lived in Mount Sinai, next to us, they had a 13-year-old son, I think, or something like that. And I'd be outside shoveling or whatever, and I'd look over, and the dad would be outside. Kids nowhere to be found. I'm like, the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Like,
Sitting around fucking
what's the
on-
kid, yeah, what is he doing? Is
on
he
his
inside playing the
computer.
game?
video
Like,
games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the fuck at like,
Yeah, I was always shoveling. No
yeah.
matter what. Yep.
Shoveling a
would've
mower,
never-
man.
You
Yeah.
you got to do it though too, because I had this conversation actually with my boss recently, where we had hired my company had hired a new tech, and he came to my job as like the starting ground, as the training ground. The district I work in is like the training ground because it's kind of already established and it's like you learn there. The kid was not very good, and he was lazy and had no initiative. If you told him to do something, he'd do it. But outside of that, he would sit there and
Yeah.
wait. He had no initiative,
Yeah.
no nothing. And he was like 23, and he had some prior experience. So on paper, he looked good because he worked for, he did the help desk at the college he was attending, where he got his degree in IT and everything. But there was nothing else behind it, and my boss was like, "I don't understand this. Like, there's no work ethic. There's no nothing." And I'm like, hopefully the kid learns from this, because he got slapped with reality here, where he probably had this cushy job prior to this, and it wasn't a whole lot of responsibility.
A campus job. Where you basically sit at the desk, and if somebody comes up to you, then you have to address it.
Yeah.
And he probably never really, and I could be wrong, but what we were talking about was he might have never done real hard work.
No.
And coming from the work that I used to do, I did oil tank abandonments, I did landscaping, and I did industrial battery work. And like I said with the grip work before, we were hustling.
Yeah.
That kind of work, even though it was ball breaking work and shitty manual labor, it's like you learn from that. I think everybody should do that.
It molds you into the type of person that you are, and that's the same thing with the mentality.
It makes you appreciate the work too later down the road. I
Yeah.
appreciate the job that I have now, that I'm not breaking my body to pieces now.
Yeah.
I appreciate it that much more, and I work that much harder because of it. I think everybody should do.
And it breaks that sense of
manual labor.
entitlement too.
Exactly.
It breaks your sense of entitlement.
Exactly.
It breaks that your boss owes you.
Exactly.
It's not that mentality. It's the
Exactly.
opposite mentality. You need to prove to your boss every day that you're worthy of a paycheck.
Right.
And a lot of people that are younger, that come into all areas of life, have this sense of entitlement because they grow up getting participation awards that they could just get whatever you know what I'm talking about, so they grow up with this sense of no matter what kind of job I do, I'm going to get rewarded for it, and then they translate that into a paycheck later in life. And you can't grow up with that mentality. You're going to fuck yourself, and these parents are fucking their children long term, because that's how they're going to grow up, to feel like everything is just going to get handed to them and not going to have to really struggle or stress about the direction they take their life in.
This whole no keeping score and everybody wins, and no, that's not fucking real life.
No.
Everyone doesn't win.
Because there's going to be an immigrant that there was nothing to even join that you could win, and he's going to come along, and then he's going to see, oh look, I can win up here. And
I could do this better than them.
He's going to take your job.
I'll tell you what, it's not even just an immigrant thing. It's,
anyone.
Kids that have parents like you and I, both of us have kids. I will never instill that fucking.
No.
I'll smack a fucking participation award right out of my son's hand. Fuck that! No,
Yeah.
You didn't win. You don't get rewarded for not winning. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Good try, but you know what? Now you got to practice.
Yeah.
There was this story. This was a few years ago about this kid in Connecticut. Played Little League, and he was bigger than all the other kids, and he was dominating. He was awesome. He was great. He was a pitcher. He'd strike everybody out. So the parents complained, well, why is this kid in? And he was young for the kid, So if
For
it's
the bracket,
if it's 12 to 15,
He was 12.
He was 12. So instead of instilling in their kids, hey, you got struck out 4 times in that game,
Get better.
get better,
Hit the batting cage.
We're gonna go to the batting cage. They instead complained, and the kid got moved up to a higher league, where he got he's playing against 16 and 17
and now
year olds,
he's run of the mill.
right.
Yeah.
Take away his confidence.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, why
It's
is
just,
that
it's
a
just
good
diluting.
thing?
It's not. It's just diluting.
It's not at all.
Well,
It's diluting people and keeping people in line. It's just.
It's one of the things that's wrong with America, and a lot of it, I feel, stems from the school districts. My wife is an educator, and if you look at the amount of money that they spend, and don't get me wrong, I have family members that have learning disabilities, but the amount of money they spend on students with learning disabilities versus what they spend on gifted students.
Oh, it's crazy.
If you look at the budget for gifted students, it's usually 0. And if you look at the budget for what they spend on kids with special needs, it's usually 3 to 5 times, if not 8 to 10 times what they would spend on a normal pupil. And don't get me wrong, if little Johnny is having a difficult time reading, but there's some hope for him, spend all the money you need on him. But a lot of the money gets spent on kids that, they're going to be getting taught life skills, because they're never going to function on independent capacity in their entire lives. They're going to go through school. They're being forced to take all of the silly state tests and Regents exams, even though they just bomb them all and fail them, which is terrible for their self-confidence.
Well,
And then they go on to live in group homes. And those are the pupils that we spend 3 to 4 times the amount as the average pupil on, when you have a whole middle population of students that could benefit from some of those dollars, and you have some gifted students, probably 5 to 10%, that could get a little bit of an extra push, but the money's not there. Everything is spent on mediocrity.
It seems like it's like we have a culture that's not allowed to fail almost, and you need failure to grow and learn, because it's like if the kid fails, it might hurt his confidence, but if there's another kid succeeding, it's hurting the other kid's confidence also. So it's like you're not allowed to succeed, and you're not, because then if you excel, like with the kid in Connecticut, it makes somebody else feel bad.
Yeah.
But if you don't succeed, you're still failing. Like, they don't want you to succeed. They want you to just be in the middle. And it's like, listen, there's a reason why things are exclusionary. Because if I say it's me and I'm going out for baseball and I don't get cut, how do I ever find out that maybe I'm a good musician?
Yeah.
That's right.
Because they just keep me on the team and I keep playing a sport that maybe I'm really not supposed to be playing. And I never find out that I could be really good and excelling somewhere else. You have to fail to find those things out, and I think they're kind of eliminating that, where everybody makes the team. Like, no, man, there's a reason why things are exclusionary.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody's different, right? What's for me isn't for everybody else. I'm not a good baseball player. Yeah. And I would have never figured that out if I made the baseball team. I found out I was good at basketball. Right?
And it goes even further, because with the whole, everyone makes a team, now you're taking time away or playing time away from these kids who really may be good.
Right.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, someone who may have been an all-star and may be able to get a college scholarship or go pro or something, maybe his playing time gets cut in half because, we need to have little Johnny.
Everybody's got to get their 15 minutes of fucking playing time.
Well, that's what I mean. Everybody gets handicapped in that
I stopped
way.
playing school sports for that reason. When I was 13 years old, I was a very good goalie in hockey. I played on my school's hockey team, and they had these crazy rules where everyone had to play, and I was a goalie. I was a very good goalie. I practiced all the time. I had friends, so we would play after school. I was pretty good at playing goalie, and we had another goalie that was not good, and I had to split the playing time with him. So
That's crazy.
if I was out there playing first, the game would be somewhat competitive, and score would be 2-2. We'd be within like 1 or 2 points of the other team we were playing, and then halfway through the second period, it would be time for me to come out, and the next thing you know, we'd end up losing. Or vice versa, he would come in first, and the score would be 7-2, and then I'd come in and I'd block the rest, but we'd never be able to catch back up.
Yeah.
And the whole time, it was just like super mentally draining and demoralizing to me, because here I am, I'm one of the goalies, but I only have 50% of the responsibility for keeping us from winning or losing. But since Longwood School District had some cheesy playing time rule that applied to hockey, it didn't apply to football or like some of the other like more major sports, but it used to shaft us, and I became. I'm trying to think of a way to describe it, but I was disenfranchised.
Yeah,
you could have been the next Mike Richter. You could have.
I wasn't that good.
But you don't know that. At 13 years old, you don't know what you could have grown into.
But it takes the fun out of it, too.
It does. Well, it does.
Regardless of anything else, it takes the fun
Who wants to
out.
show up and lose every game of the season because you want to not let some other kid feel bad?
Right.
Fuck that other kid.
It takes the edge off competition, and that translates into people's adult life.
And you're going to have 30 kids lose. You're going to have 30 kids lose every game of the season
Just to be
so one
fair.
kid doesn't feel bad. But he must feel bad. You must feel bad about yourself if you know you're the reason.
Once
that your team
you hit a
sucks.
certain age, you have to know that. All right, like I fucking suck.
Yeah.
But you have to identify. Like I think it's a parent's responsibility to.
And the guy was older too. That's what sucked. I was playing like JV as a 13-year-old. I was like 13. This kid was like 16.
It's your responsibility to fail and learn from it.
Sure.
If you...
That's not for me. Move on.
Yes, you have to deal with failure and adjust and adapt to it. That's the only way you grow and learn. And truthfully, you guys are making some big moves right now. And if you had never taken a risk in any other avenue of your life, whether it was sports or whatever, and failed and learned from it and adjusted, would you guys have the balls to make the move you're making now?
That's where I was trying to touch on a little bit at my job, sitting at that desk for the last 2 years. Failing the mental game, like not being able to get past it because I knew that it wasn't for me, got me to the point where I am now. 2.5 years ago, I don't think I had it in me to do what I'm doing now,
Right.
because I had to go through like this stretch of legitimate like mental anguish, like seeing what my future could be down that path, and it was a lesson. I hated it. I learned a lot, sure, but it was a lesson. It taught me how to identify what I didn't want to feel, and that was a failure. It was a failure, but it was a triumph. Like I was able to say, all right, this wasn't for me. Maybe I didn't work out as far as expectations go to my boss or what have you. But now I know what I don't want to do. Without that failure, I could have just been stuck there without being able to consciously be aware of that, dealing with failures in the past, and knowing that I had to move in a different direction. I would have no idea. I would just be stuck there. Like some people just get stuck.
It's like what Eric said, and I hear Eric say this a lot, and it's true. Adversity makes you better.
Sure.
You have to have adversity, and what more adversity is there than failure? Yeah. You got to fail.
It's the best. Yeah. It's the best thing for you overall, because if you do something and if you can't accept failure, I feel like one of the biggest problems that was ingrained to me as a child from my parents is I don't want to say not to embrace failure, but to make it work. And a lot of time, I've spent lots of hours and years of my life doing things that I was very lukewarm about, and you know what? I wasn't very successful at them. Not in my mind, like not as successful as I wanted to be, but I was good enough to impress everybody else, good enough to put a couple extra bucks in my pocket at the end of the year, good enough to like go on a vacation, have some extra money, and like good enough to prove to everyone else that I was doing it, but I wasn't able to prove it to myself.
But that's how most people get through life.
It is, and it's
just
sucks.
Good enough. And they're just good enough to pay the bills, just good enough to keep the lights on, just good enough to keep everybody fed. And it's a miserable way to live. And you can make peace in it. You don't have to look bigger picture. You can make peace with just working day to day and supporting your family.
Hating myself every day. That's what I did. I hate myself every day.
But there's a reason why like-minded people like us get around and talk about shit like this, because not everybody is able to look at things the way that we do. Yeah. They don't look like there's an alternate way to approach a lifestyle or the direction you want to take your life. They get a job put in front of them. They're college, job, girlfriend, fiance, wife, kids, minivan. Dead. Assless chaps somewhere in the middle.
If they're lucky,
they get an ashless chaps section of their marriage where things get a little spicy. Some of them don't get that.
And it's the other thing too that I think is worth acknowledging is, and me and my buddy Guas had this conversation a few times. We are lucky enough to have this dilemma because it's like what you were saying before about your grandparents who came over with the scarcity mentality. They had no other option. Yeah. There was no other option. It was, life was a lot harder, years ago. Where
we don't live in that reality,
right? We don't live that, and that's happening in other parts of the world right now. We're lucky enough to have that existential dilemma where we have enough unoccupied time to ponder,
to even think about this type of stuff.
So Well,
that's why we have all of the immigrants coming here from the South American countries and Central America and Mexico, because they don't really have any other option, and the best option is coming here and mowing lawns.
As much as we want to, shit on somebody's lawn, it is the land of opportunity.
It is.
As much as we, we complain about, and I, may sound like a bit of a diva, walking away from, something that somebody could look at as a good career. But we have all those choices. There is the land of opportunity.
But you're not a diva for that. Here's and this is why I think it's important, because you walking away from that maybe opens up the door for somebody who's craving that. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what I think. That was the point I was going to make, is that by us having the ability to even sit and have these options, I think it makes it all the more imperative that we maximize all our potential and all opportunities with the opportunities we have, because other people don't have them. And if we're not doing it, then we're standing in the way of those other people.
Somebody that could whoever is hired to work after me and sit at the same chair and the same computer that I was could excel and bring that company to the next level.
And it could be what they need.
That could be what that person needs. It could be what the job needs, and all that wouldn't have happened if I just strung along my bullshit existence to just collect a paycheck.
Then it's just you're kinking the hose at that point.
Just backing it up.
So by you not following what you feel in your blood really is worse, in my opinion. And I think that's worth. I don't know how to articulate this properly, but I think that's worth something, and I think it's worth acknowledging that yes, we are lucky to have these problems, but by the virtue of the luck that we have, I think it makes it all the more valuable and all the more necessary that we do, or you guys do, the things that you're doing, because without it, then you're spoiling the gift.
Sure.
So it's on us to maximize that potential.
I think this is a tremendous gift because, as you mentioned earlier, like you're going out there and you're getting to start over, but you're starting over having 10 years, 11 years more experience and knowledge than you would if you had started over in your early 20s or right out of high school.
Or even before then. Like, it's irrational to think that somebody coming out of high school could go to college and really identify what they want to do with the rest of their lives.
I think it's the craziest model ever in the history of man. It almost doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because is anybody in this room the same person they were in high school?
That's what I was getting at. Like, if 18-year-old Nick could talk to 33-year-old Nick now, I would seem like fucking Yoda the Incredible. Like, the amount of knowledge that I have now compared to, like, fresh out of high school, you really think about that, and that's just life experience. That's just life experience. I'm trying to start over my life at 33 because now I think I'm mentally able to take on life in a mature way. I may be doing it in a nomadic sense, you know, as far as my approach goes, but ultimately, I couldn't do this when I was 18 years old, and even if I did, I wouldn't be a quarter as successful as I know that I could be now because of what I've been molded by the last 13, 14 years of my life. It's irrational to think that an 18-year-old person going to college, their first time living on their own, is able to really identify what direction they want to take their life in.
Well, they are. It's just based upon money. Like, all right, how much does that field pay?
What's safe?
Oh, yeah, this doesn't seem like a bad gig. I wouldn't mind doing that every day. And that's essentially what I did and what the majority of people do. Nobody thinks about what they love. They think about, like, oh, what could I sort of do? What could I? What looks like it would be fun? That'll pay the bills.
What's the mature choice? What would make my parents proud? You know, how am I going to pay the bills? I really like that new Infiniti that just came out. Like,
exactly.
I need to make at least $1,000 a month to get the car I want, and you start categorizing things in a matter of monetary sense, and you get caught in the rat race.
My 18-year-old self, I was convinced that I wanted to take the path of least resistance. Like I'd convinced myself that I would be like comfortable in some job that I eked along at because I had no ambition at 18. I was a fucking bum. Like, and my 18-year-old self now would probably look at this version of me and think I was like a mild sellout almost with some of the things that I'm into. But I feel like he'd probably forgive me because I saw a couple girls naked. So I think he'd get over it a little bit.
All right, you're cool.
But my 18-year-old self was like the exact opposite of that. I was extremely ambitious. I wanted to try to like maximize and squeeze every dollar out of anything that I was spending my time doing. I was extremely industrious, but I feel like a lot of my juice was wasted by people that didn't know how to guide me the right way. And it was, okay, just go to college and do your classes, and like this family, why aren't your grades better? But my grades weren't better because I was going to college, working a full-time job and 2 part-time jobs because I wanted to like get ahead in life.
Right.
And I was trying to balance it all out with school and working 40 to 60 hours a week, doing like the bouncing thing on the side on the weekends, working a regular full-time job. And I was like, well, my grades don't matter because nobody looks at your GPA when you go to apply for jobs. So all I need to get is a diploma.
Does a doctor get paid less who went to whatever school than the good doctor who went to Harvard? Like, no, you're still both doctors, right?
Exactly.
Oh, no.
It's a little different.
That is a line of thinking that fucked me. Because I was real intelligent in high school, and I probably could have got into just about any school that I wanted, but I didn't because they were too expensive, and I knew that my parents were going to help me out with my undergrad, and I knew if I went to community college locally and I commuted, that it would be much less expensive. And I was told, doesn't matter what college you go to, Eric, and I went to community college, but I could have went to prestigious colleges that if I said the name, they'd be known all over the world, and I didn't.
It makes a big difference.
I've heard both sides.
No, hold on.
I've heard both sides.
We know somebody specific who eked his way through an Ivy League school and gets jobs that he fucking has no business having fucking handed to him, and he fucks them all up.
Right, like I said, but I've heard both sides. I've heard people who do get by on it, and then I've heard people who
what I will
work
say,
side by side with somebody who
the
went
networking
to
you do at Ivy League schools versus the networking you do at community college. I have a half dozen friends that went to Ivy League schools, and all of them got positions out of college that were making more than my parents were.
Okay, well, maybe Ivy League schools is the bad example.
But
maybe Ivy League is a bad example because those are like upper echelon, high prestigious things. But I know some people who like. Here's a perfect example. I know a few people that are accountants, right? And some people who went to who got their degrees from St. Joe's, and another who got their degree from Hofstra in Michigan.
Yeah,
Okay?
but those
some are a little bit higher than the other, but they're all doing the same fucking thing, and there's almost no difference. And so, yes, Ivy League is a whole different league. So maybe I shouldn't have said fucking Harvard.
But
you knew where I was going with
throwing Harvard,
right.
Columbia around.
I shouldn't have said that because Ivy League is
what I will
fucking
say
Ivy League, so.
is no one's going to know the person who graduated with a C average or an A average.
Yeah.
Because if both those people went to the same school,
same school, same profession.
Yeah.
Sure.
It makes no difference.
Yeah.
Back to Eric and 18-year-old Eric.
I remember 18-year-old Eric.
18-year-old Eric, degenerate, but
Nick's like he wasn't that great.
entirely
No, we were all cool fucking 18-year-olds.
entirely focused on trying to make money. I would get so focused on trying to maximize every opportunity that I had that I in turn made myself miserable and hated essentially the majority of my life growing up, because I always felt like, all right, I got to get an extra dollar, and if I'm here, I'm going to be here for 6 hours. I can make X amount if I hang out, and I can make twice that if I hustle. And I just pushed myself, and I was pushing myself into these corners in these fields that I didn't really like.
Yeah.
Well, if I get bumped up to the next pay scale, I'll make more money, but I'm getting bumped up to the next pay scale doing some shit that I don't want to do every day.
Yeah.
But, so you said you were unmotivated.
See,
I was overly motivated, but neither one of us was really guided the correct way.
It all comes from the same place, and it's because when you mentioned this, it reminded me something. When I was younger,
just get by.
It's not even just that. You get steered into these directions, and this is when I was younger. All I cared about was basketball. I found the thing that I loved. I loved basketball, and I had a ton of self-belief. And all I ever heard was, "You're too small," and it's not worth it. But I didn't give a fuck about any of that. I wasn't willing to listen to anybody. And all my life I got told, because I wasn't the best student, but I did enough. But I struggled at math and stuff like that. But it didn't engage me the way basketball did. I wanted to pursue what I knew I loved.
Your passion.
Right. I had that at a young age. And I will never forget, all my life I got told the same things by my parents and by teachers. If you put all the effort you put into basketball, into your schoolwork, you'd be a great student. You could have a great job. You could have this and you could have that. And I remember one of my 6th grade teacher pulling me out of my classroom telling me, "Do you know why you're not a good student and why you struggle at math? Because all you care about is basketball." And I looked her in the face and I went, "Yeah, I care about basketball more because I love it."
Yeah.
And she's like, "That's why you'll never be successful." This was in 6th grade. She said this to me. And I'll never forget this. Standing outside in Saxon, looking at her, and I remember hating her guts for that.
Society doesn't like.
Well, she probably hated herself
flourish.
too.
Probably, probably. And I see it now working in schools. I see how some of these teachers speak to kids and students, and that's like you hit that resistance. And I knew that at a young age, and it's funny looking back at it. I knew back then that that's what I loved and that's what I wanted to do. And it's like you get that beaten out of you. And you're a kid, and you hear it from these adults, and in your mind when you're a kid, adults have the world figured out, but they don't know shit.
Society doesn't nourish dreamers.
No, it doesn't at all.
It doesn't allow you, and life doesn't allow you to take those chances to go after that boyhood dream.
Right. Right.
It's taken me till 33 to live out my boyhood dream of driving across country and starting over. I wanted to do that when I was 17, 18 years old, but I was told that's not possible. Why would you do that?
It's dumb. It's dumb.
Stupid.
It's dumb. It's not real life. It's not feasible.
I applied to one college with my best friend because it was the #1 party school on the East Coast that year. I swear to God, true fucking story. Me and Kurt, I'm like, I'm going to apply to SUNY Albany because I don't know what magazine it was in at the time. It was 2000 or 2001.
I remember that. I remember
that time.
It was probably
Maxim Party Schools.
It was probably Maxim Party Schools. So I was graduating in 2001. We were looking at it, and I think in the Northeast, SUNY Albany was the #1 party school. So me and my boy Kurt were like, yo, let's go to Albany. I was a decent student. I had good grades. I didn't. If I was going to go to school, I was going there. If I didn't get in, I wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
Guess what? I got accepted there. So we went away to college. I dropped out after a year. I was like, fuck it, this shit isn't for me. I went to work in the real world. And that's where I was, 14, 15 years ago.
Right.
I wasn't mentally prepared to go to school. Now, if I was able to go to school, I would choose what the fuck I would want to do with myself. I would be smarter, and I would be more methodical in my approach, and I would be successful because of it. But as a 17, 18-year-old kid, I just wanted to stay up all night and
get drunk.
party.
I hated school. I didn't want to go to
Nobody wants to.
college.
Nobody wants to go to school, especially at a young age.
But now, if you could take 4 years and you could study stuff that you loved, would you fucking not? I would sign up for that right the fuck.
In a second, with my assless chaps dancing down the aisles, like, let's go.
Well, yeah, but it's if you could do this, if you could go and follow your passion and be rewarded in a sense for it,
but in
life
theory,
would be much better.
That's what college is supposed to be.
Exactly. I remember calling my mother. I had a Wednesday night class. It was a once a week class. It was a psychology class. It was a Wednesday night. It was like 8 p.m. It was a 3-hour fucking class. I called my mother. It was my first semester. It had to have been fucking early 2002 or whatever it was. And I said, I don't like this. Like, this is not what I wanted to go to college for. I thought I was supposed to fucking choose what I wanted to do with my life. I don't want to sit in a class till 11 o'clock at night learning about psychology. That's not what I want to do with myself. And it defeated me early on in the process, and that's probably why I dropped out after a year. If I was nourished a little bit more and steered towards things that would spark my interest, I may have finished college. I could have been there for another 3 years.
But Eric's the prime
knows?
example of I feel like you took the prompts that you were given and followed them.
I
and
followed
and
all
ended
of
up
them.
jaded anyway.
And you know what? I ended up realizing that I committed a lot of time, and I'm not going to say like my college experience was useless, neither my undergrad nor my master's degree, because I did pick up a lot from them that I use in everyday life to help me be successful. But I will say that I don't work in either of the fields that I went to school for, because the fields that I went to school for, I mean, my undergrad is in history and education, so I could have got a job as a history teacher. I didn't realize until I was out of college I have a big problem with bureaucracy.
Can I pause you real quick?
Sure.
One of my dreams is to be a college history professor. Go on.
Well, I realized that I can't be part of a bureaucracy, and the other thing that I realized was I have a real difficult time
With kids?
treating. No, I like kids. I like kids a lot, but I have a real difficult time treating people with respect that are above me that don't command my respect. And when you work in the public sector, the people that are above you many times are just people who have been there longer and have brown-nosed
And just
more
have some
adequately.
title that they're supposed to be important from.
And now you're supposed to be submissive or listen to them, even though it might defy logic in every sense of the word, and I can't subject myself to that. I'm not willing to go through life like that.
I encountered that at my old job where, I worked with some, fucking nose in the air engineers. And what I did was, for lack of a better word, was
Quit? You quit?
no quality. I meant the job.
Okay.
Like, it was like quality control basically. My job was to find bugs in software. So sometimes you find a bug and you clash with an engineer who's responsible
their
for the
fault.
bug. Yeah, and they want to speak to me like I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And I remember being at work, getting into it with one of these guys, and I was like, "Look, man, you've been real condescending towards me." I'm like, "It's not going to happen again. I'm trying to work with you, okay? People make mistakes, I get it, and maybe there's some things I don't comprehend, but you're basically trying to tell me that I'm wrong here, and I'm just dumb, and you're smarter than me.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, that's not what's happening.
Well,
This
that
guy
might
was
be
getting
that-
coached.
What's the
might-
name of that company? No, didn't you? What's the name of that company?
It was Motorola.
Was it Motorola? Didn't
Yeah.
you work for a company that I used to sell the cell phones to? Didn't we talk about this one time too?
I worked for Sprint.
Yeah.
Was that
We
what
worked,
it was?
yeah,
That's what it
we
was.
both
That's what it
worked
was.
for Sprint. Yeah,
I knew
but
there
I
was
remember
something there.
this engineer, and he looked at me because I wasn't an engineer. I didn't have the same title as him, and he condescended me a few times. I remember finally one time I was like, "Listen, man, this is strike 3 now.
Yeah.
We're done here.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about your degree. You're not better than me. You're not going to speak to me like this." I was like, if this happens again, violence is an option. Essentially.
There's going to be workplace
Yeah.
violence.
I was like,
won't save you.
We're gonna be on
exactly,
News
that's
12.
exactly what I said to
You'll
him.
get
I was
punched
like,
in your face.
your degree is not going to save you from the consequences of how you're acting right now. You're being he was so condescending. It was retarded. I was
But you know
furious.
what? Him talking to you like that, as far as from his position, was probably the feather in his cap for that month.
It was,
because
and he was beside himself when I was when I said this to him, and he was like, "Well, I'm just trying to have I'm just trying to talk to you. I'm trying to talk to you."
Reality. He realized.
He's like, "Yeah,
learn
I'm
to
just
fucking
talking
talk
to you."
to
I'm
somebody.
like, "Dude, you don't talk to people like this. Just because you have a fucking degree, and yes, you make more money than me, and you have a little bit more status in this company, does not mean you're going to speak down to me." You know, and like I feel like that's what you were getting towards. Like, I'm not
100%.
forced into. I'm not going to bow down to you speaking to me like this because you're a fucking engineer. Fuck you.
But taking it back to kids in high school.
I'm getting like, where
Right? Get this guy a shot.
We're bringing it back to kids in high school, not really knowing which way to go when they get done. I feel like it's almost a product of their environment. Like, how many times when we were in high school did we have people come in from different industries and explain what they do? It was almost like a crapshoot in your mind. Like, I went to Longwood, and essentially everyone in my graduating class was going to go to school to be like 4 things. It was, I'm going to school to be an accountant, I'm going to school to get a business degree, I'm going to go to Suffolk Community College to get a criminal justice degree so that I could take the sheriff's department and the police department tests, and then the last but not least, I'm going to go be a teacher. Those were the 4 career choices of all 1,000 kids from Longwood High School, class of 2001. And every single person that went to college with one of those 4 things in mind.
Pat Med class of 99 was pretty much the exact same thing.
I was just gonna say that.
And
I
you
feel
wanna-
like everybody from Pat Med that we went to school with is in one of 2 careers, and it was a teacher or a cop. And you know why most of them became cops? Because they got teaching degrees and couldn't get fucking jobs.
Well, fast forward from 2001 to 2005. Every teaching position, my wife is a teacher, every teaching position on Long Island that you could apply for had 400 to 800 applicants in 2005, because that was the abundance of teachers.
It's more now.
I'm sure it is. My wife had to teach in one district as like a part-timer, like sub, I guess. She was subbing and doing leave replacements for 3.5 years while simultaneously coaching gymnastics and cheerleading in other districts, so that she could hopefully get an opportunity to apply for a job at one of those. And it took, I think, 3.5 to 4 years before she got a full-time job. She was already done with her master's degree. She was, I think, 26 years old or 27 years old with a master's degree, having had a master's degree for 2 years and still working as like basically like a part-time employee, making $100 a day or $120 a day subbing.
And
which is insane.
Yeah, and those paths are so flooded because that's what we're grown and harvested to feel like that's what we're supposed to do.
I think 20,000 people take the Suffolk County Police exam every time.
Oh,
actually,
so many more than that.
It's a 20. It was 20 to 30,000 when I was like getting out of college, but it's gotten so big. It's become a moneymaker for the police department. They charge
itself.
They charge $100. Yep, they charge $100 to take the test. Yeah, they charge $100 to take
You
the
need to move
test.
back if you get the call.
I did. If they get that call, who knows, baby?
It's such a big money. They make millions of dollars every time they offer the test. It's such a big moneymaker that they actually have money to advertise the tests. And they buy radio airtime. They buy internet pop-up ads on like Facebook, and they buy print ads. And it's really sick to see that the actual test to take, like the public service test to become a public service type employee, is a moneymaker for the police department. That's disturbing.
When I went to go take that test, there was outside of a middle school. And I just remember exactly what he's saying. It's $100 a person. I just remember seeing the line to get into the school to take this exam.
We just did the math.
Are you kidding me? Yeah,
25,000 people is $2.5 million the police department makes off people that are filling out job applications.
And what do they do? What do they do? What do they do that twice a year?
I don't know. I think it's every 2 years or every 4 years.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
It's a while.
But like NYPD, how much is NYPD?
Well,
take that?
NYPD is different. They give the test
That's
every day.
week. I'm saying,
every
what
day
is
of the
it? What is
week.
it? $30, $40 to take that?
Yeah,
Something like that.
I don't know what it
But
is.
still, that's a money-making thing as well.
same thing.
Sure.
But I've taken the Suffolk police test and the Nassau police test. The Nassau is even just as bad. Like I took it at the Nassau Coliseum, and it was fucking packed.
So they rent this. So they have to rent out a coliseum to give the exam to become a county police officer.
It was
How much does it cost?
7 days, 2 sessions a day.
Really?
Yeah.
And
That's
how
many
much?
people.
That's insane. And what does it cost to rent an arena out?
It must be a fraction of what they're fucking making.
Yep,
for them to-
exactly.
for them to wanna-
And the exam in California is completely free. And they give it once a week.
what's even crazier is the people. So I actually went through the process for the Suffolk Police, and so I went through the interview process and getting background information and all that stuff. But the first part of it is you report. Depending on the score that you get, I've done really well on test. They send out the letters. You come in. You go to the police academy, which is off the Suffolk Community College in Brentwood.
Okay.
So they have a whole building on that campus. You go there, and you're supposed to be in suit and tie, business attire, not business best attire.
Yeah.
There were some people who actually showed up in jeans, sneakers, unshaven. It's like just the mentality.
Are you wasting your money?
Yeah. Why are you even here?
It's that homegrown sense of
entitlement.
I don't need to dress up.
Yeah.
This is just me. You should accept me and give me a job for $100,000 a year.
I'll tell you, it was nice and kind of almost refreshing being there for that.
Yeah.
Because they don't live that same world that most of these people are used to.
Yeah.
So
they got turned right away.
Oh, not even just turn. They don't. That's the thing. They don't turn them away. They make examples of them, and
that's like somebody who deserves to get punched in their fucking face.
Absolutely.
That's like life, like punching them in the fucking face.
Yeah.
Like you think you're just gonna show up and just not play by the rules? It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that job, and it's gonna be bad for you for a little while.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh man.
So what are we getting at? Like,
basically, what we're getting at is,
are we raging against the machine right now? Like, what is? Are we going to overthrow the government and start some new utopian society?
No. What I think is that more than anything is I think it underscores the point that what you guys are doing is important. That's what I think, because all these things that we talked about are we're never going to solve it. Right? You're not going to ever solve any of these problems, and I think that's why it's important when you guys are doing what you're doing, because that's kind of how you, for lack of a better word, like you said, rage against the fucking machine.
Yeah. I want to I hope that my actions, and I've seen this from certain people in my life. I hope that my actions of, and me and my brother, we did it in two separate ways. He came fresh out of college and realized that he wanted a new direction for himself. And I came, battle wounded from working in the corporate life, realizing that I don't want to continue, down that path. And I hope that both of us, in our own right, could inspire people around us to say, "Oh, Nick and Tony did it. Why am I miserable?" Everyone that I've told my plan has been 1,000% supportive, and either are daydreaming in their mind that maybe I could do that someday, or I wish that I did that when I was in your position, and there's a sense of enviousness coming back from them. So I feel like I owe it to myself. I need to do this because there are other people that aren't in the same position that wish they could do it.
This is the exact reason why we started this podcast, because the point of it is that there's probably somebody out there who has similar plans. It might not be exactly what you're doing, or it might be exactly what you want to do. And you guys are regular people doing it. My buddy Guas is a regular guy who packed up and went cross country. My buddy Dave is a regular guy who packed up his whole life and moved to California and is making it. And when you see other people doing that, it's kind of like, yeah, why not me?
Yeah, it's accomplishable. It's something that you can do.
That's the whole point. And that's kind of why we wanted to do this podcast, is because there's a lot of people out there doing it, and it's like you don't know how many people maybe who are thinking about something like that, and they see you guys doing it, they see us doing it, and they're like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to give it a shot, because why not me?
Yeah, you just got to try.
Yeah, and so I think that's the way that you, I guess, affect change, right? You got to do something and kind of inspire chances, right? You got to inspire people to take chances, because I think that's like where it's at. You have to changes and chances.
Yeah,
I guess.
I agree. It makes sense. And I never thought that making this choice to kind of really just quench my own thirst for my life could actually inspire somebody to be better. I hope people in my life, I hope, my sister, my mother, my cousin, my brother to a point, I hope that what I'm doing does like kind of translate into something a little bit bigger than me just, saying, fuck it, I want to just take my motorcycle and, because it sounds like it could be a very juvenile and selfish thing, which I think to some degree it is. But ultimately, I hope that people around me could say, fuck this job. I'll do, I need to take a chance to do what I need to do to make myself happy. And if you don't take a chance, you live that normal, cookie cutter, safe lifestyle, you never really know what your full potential is, no matter what capacity it could be. It could be success-wise, it could be creatively, it could be, athletically. You never know if you get caught up in that lifestyle that you're like beaten in the head that you can't take a chance.
I feel like I think we mentioned this in the last podcast. In New York, especially in the metropolitan area, you really can't take a chance because it sets you back so far when you fail. And
there is no margin for error. There's no time for it. There's no people that care about it. There's no people that'll tolerate it.
I feel like Long Island and the New York area, it's very easy. There's opportunities for you to get by.
You could very easily get by and survive.
There's always going to be a job as long as you show up. As long as you show up when you're supposed to show up and you're not on drugs or drunk, you're going to be able to get a job and pay your bills.
Yeah.
But as far as excelling or having the opportunity to take chances, I feel like that doesn't really exist here.
Yeah.
Because I've gone out and taken various chances over the years with a bunch of things. Some of them have worked out really well and I've been super successful with. Some of them have been utter fucking failures where I've lost thousands of dollars. Forget about the money, forget the money. I've lost years of my life.
Yeah.
Years that I'll never get back. And the sad thing is, what I had to do to just get by during that time, aside from the extra time that I spent like pursuing my goals that ended up failing, those years of my life I'll never get back. Whereas if I was somewhere else where it was a little bit more forgiving, maybe I would have been able to have a decent type of lifestyle while I was choosing to pursue my goals or aiming or shooting for the stars, instead of having to work 40 or 50 hours a week and then sit up for 4 to 6 hours in the evening trying to like further myself or better myself. Maybe I just would have been able to spend full time and had a part-time job.
We did talk about that last time. We talked about that fear, that FOMO, that fear of missing out. Like, I know sitting at my desk every day working, I didn't have the time. I mean, and that's an excuse if we want to really go down, really start digging deep. But working 9 hours a day and then trying to balance a social life, trying to be healthy and go to the gym, trying to create that routine that everybody finds, so normal. I was terrified. I would sit at my desk and almost give myself panic attacks. Like, what the fuck could I be doing with my time right now that could really better me as a person or better something that is going to make me happy long term? I don't have the time to do it. I really don't. And if I wasn't more aware of my surroundings to identify that, I could get caught up and knock some girl up, and then I really have no opportunity to go.
Then you're stuck.
Then I'm stuck.
You're in the Long Island trap.
The guy that I work next to, and he's an awesome guy. He's a very smart guy. I learned a lot from him. He's not too much older than me. He's 35, but he's married. He's married 12 years, and he's got 2 kids. When I was going through all this stuff mentally with myself, trying to see, like, am I really, like, just being a bitch? Should I just shut the fuck up and work? I would say to him, if you didn't have your wife and you didn't have your kids to worry about, would you be sitting at this desk right now doing what you're doing? And he didn't even have to think about it. He said, no. Because he knew that there was something that he could do, that he would be more satisfied and his soul would be nourished more if he was able to take that chance. But he physically can't take the chance because he has a wife and 2 kids that he has to provide for. It's an admirable thing. He's swallowing his pride and he's providing for his family. That's a great thing, and I feel that I would do the same if I was put in that situation. But I'm not there yet. So why am I doing the same thing that this guy clearly said that he has no desire to do with the rest of his life, and he's passionate about architecture and engineering, and I'm not, and I'm still doing it? Why? To collect a check, so I could pay my bills, so I could maybe get a new car, so I could maybe, redo my kitchen? I don't give a fuck about that stuff. Not now. And that was like that was an eye-opening, that was a mind-opening thing, was to Like, seeing my future in this guy sitting 6 feet away from me. Like, I could be married and kids. I don't have a choice. I have a choice. I need to get the fuck out of here. And that's what really helped push me in that direction.
Well, I think that's another thing, too, is, like, there are people who maybe don't have the same choices that we have, but even by virtue of hearing what you guys are doing or any of our other guests, what they're doing, it might inspire them to take a different chance.
Sure.
You know, hey, you know what? I'm going to go run that marathon I always wanted to run. Or I'm going to go learn how to ride that motorcycle I always wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it was, something that's maybe missing that, like you said, they're making excuses for. I don't have time.
Yeah.
But here you guys are taking chances. It's like, well, you know what? I'm going to take a chance myself. And I think that all has value. And if there's not people doing those things, it doesn't inspire anybody else to do anything. And maybe they don't have the ability to pick up and leave, but they have the ability to add to their life. Maybe that guy in your office wants to do something, and he hears what you're doing, and he's going to go, you know what? Yeah, I'm not dead yet. Yeah. I do have kids. I am sucking it up, but I can still add value to my life.
And I could be butchering the terminology here, but I was reading an article, and it was something to the effect of putting a negative spin on the term bucket list. Like, it's not that like there are certain things that you should write down or goals that you should try to accomplish before you die. You should make a life list. You should make things that not spinning a before I die mentality on it. Like goals, things that you want to do. Write down a list. If you want to hike to the top of a mountain, write that down. Don't leave it for like your twilight years and say I got to do this before I die. These are just things that you should be trying to now. You should be trying to go after right now and make a list. And however childish it may be, and I actually had a list on my door in my bathroom in my room. And going back to the episode 1, the first time I was on the show, it was Thailand. That's what I wanted to do. That was number 1 on my list, and I made it happen. And there's certain things that got in the way that actually prevented us from going on that trip. And me and my brother were supposed to go on the trip, but it all happened for a reason. Because I wrote it down and because I approached that as a goal. That scenario is what brought us to where we are now.
And now you're moving.
And now I'm actually fucking moving. I quit everything and I'm moving.
Thailand was a Band-Aid on your ego.
It was.
It was essentially
traveling is a Band-Aid on my ego.
That's what it was. It was essentially, I hate what I'm doing. So most people, they just get drunk and high on the weekend to forget what they have to do during the week, or to forget their family, or whatever it is.
Guilty.
Yep. And then other people feel like they need to travel, and they get that travel bug, and they go away for their 1 week or 2 weeks a year, and then that's the extent of it. But one of the saddest people I ever know, I'm not going to say my relation to him, because I am sort of related, and he works in the field, he's an accountant, and he has a very successful practice, and he does very well. But whenever, as a child, I'd go to visit him, all he would talk about for the first 6 months of the year was, we're going down to visit my family in Cape Canaveral. We're going to go spend a whole week there, and then we're going to go on a cruise. We're going to spend a couple of days, and then we're going to go on a cruise. And then 6 months later, he would go on a trip to Disneyland, and that's all they did every year. But
that was putting Band-Aids on the big picture. It's like we're all miserable. We're all in this together. Let's just do 2-3 things a year that kind of
make us try to forget about him, and then we'll pretend like that's why it's all worth it.
Yeah, or that's what we're working towards. I work hard so we can go to Disney every year, and some people may enjoy that lifestyle, and that's fine, and that's what keeps society going. I think we talked about that last time too. We need people to do those jobs that maybe us dreamers don't want to do, because it has to happen. The infrastructure for society does still have to be there. I'm just choosing to go a slightly different path. I don't know. I'm not doing it right. Who knows?
Well, we're all just here trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I think a solid move is the athletic assless chaps, the breathable style.
I do know this too, Tony. Shut the fuck up. You talk too much.
I know. Yeah,
God. Let somebody get a word in, dude.
I know. Yeah,
that's because he's from California. They're a little more laid back.
We smoke a lot. We just hang out and observe mostly.
You were just talking about figuring it out, and in the words of the great Curtis LaManna, who's our friend that just right after college. I think the day
That's
he
actually
graduated, he just moved out to California.
Yeah,
and was like,
that's the
"Fuck
guy.
it."
That's the guy, Kurt. That's my buddy that we both went to Albany for the sole purpose of
Partying?
being the party school.
So-
And he finished. I left, but he finished, and then he moved right to California.
In the words of
Who I met
Kurt,
down there.
yeah.
And now my brother lives 10
I
minutes
live
from
10 minutes away from his.
from my,
and I hang out with
my,
him all
my
the time.
college best friend.
In the words of Curtis Lamana, I remember when we graduated, we were speaking, and I said, "Oh, why California?" And he said, "Well, there's not. I don't have any big jobs. I have nothing to do in New York, so I'll just be figuring it out there. So why don't I just move out to California and I'll figure it out while it's 75, 80 degrees and sunny all year round. I'd rather figure it out there than figure it out in New York."
That was basically my mindset with that whole thing. Like, it was freezing cold. I'm like, I was working construction outside. I'm like, why am I doing this?
That steals your soul.
Yeah, I was like, why am I doing this myself? I'm like, I'm shoveling myself out every morning before driving to work. I'm like, no, I'm done.
That was me in my 20s, except I was the one that stuck with it until my late 20s.
Yeah.
And until I just had literally, like, mentally, psychologically, and physically broken down to the point where I had to give it up. I was working on open-floored high-rise buildings in Manhattan in the middle of the winter. I had to buy, like, $350 boots from some company that makes Alaskan expedition boots with like 35 millimeters of insulation. It was insane, and I would just think, why do I do this to myself?
I was doing rack work in warehouses in Manhattan, and I'm 2 stories up with no harness, no nothing, and I'm just like, why the fuck am I doing this?
How many hours a week do you spend commuting?
I couldn't even tell you.
At least 4 hours a day, right?
At least. It was horrible.
That's a bit.
Sit on the train, dealing with all the people, on the train and stuff. Yeah, it was definitely not ideal.
I remember when you asked me about it. My brother, when he got to that point where he was about to pop, and he's like, I'm thinking about moving to California, and he goes, what do you think about that? And I said go.
Yeah.
I said, I fucking envy that. I've always wanted to do that, and this is how I would do it. Because I already had it planned out in my head, like, for years and years and years. This is what I wanted to do, and I said, I wish that I can do it. If you have the opportunity, go. And I was like, I don't even think I gave you one negative comment about it. I said, go.
Even when I was getting nervous about it and getting second thoughts, cold feet, he was just telling me, just do it, just go.
Yeah. And then I got the balls by seeing him being able to do it. 8 months later, doing it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking forward. You're going to leave, you said possibly Saturday?
We're looking at California or bust Saturday.
Okay.
I got some intel today that makes it look very good that we could be leaving
So
Saturday
that's like
morning.
3-4 days away?
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I know you have the GoPro set up.
Yep, I have two cameras. I have all the mounts to mount all over my bike and helmets and all over the place. So we're going to try to paint the picture as bluntly as possible for the whole thing going across. I actually I recorded almost in a podcast style the reveal, I called it, where I actually told my father and my brother that I'm quitting my job. So I have that on tape. I have their reactions. So I have like this second that he found out that I quit my job and I planned on sleeping on his couch for the foreseeable future. And I think it was a bit of a shock to everybody, but that's kind of like what I want to portray throughout the whole process. I want to interview myself. I want everybody to have on tape what we were feeling throughout the trip. I want us riding. I want us hiking. I want to be in the mountains. I want people to see what it is I decided to do. Being able to open up my thought process and walk away from what's comfortable.
So you're going to put this stuff up on your Instagram or on Facebook?
There's gonna be some stuff on Instagram. I'm not gonna really do too much in real time. There'll be stuff on Snapchat and things like that. But I'm really gonna get to California with however many hours of video that I have, and my first challenge is to do my first video job. Cool. And see what I could put together. Maybe break it into a couple of segments, put it on YouTube, something that I could have it accessible to people. That could just kind of watch the journey and
get in touch with Dave, man. He'll be able to help
that's
you with that.
And that's all stuff that I'm doing for myself because it's a little bit of a passion project. I've been writing a lot lately, and I want to be able to share what I'm doing. And I figured, fuck it, I'll give it a shot.
Right on, man.
That's awesome.
That's
We
it.
look forward to it.
Make sure you put it out there because, like I said, I feel like kind of that was like where we kind of diverted away from the particulars of your trip and kind of got on the esoteric part of it.
Yeah.
But I think that's the value of it is if you're just putting it out there, you never know. You, like I said, you might inspire somebody. They might think what you're doing is crazy.
Yeah.
And it might be to somebody else.
Absolutely.
But you might get that person going like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go do that race I always wanted to do. Or I'm going to go...
Yeah, I'm going to go buy a motorcycle or
Yeah.
take some motorcycle lessons.
Yeah, I'm going to
because I
learn.
always
I'm going
wanted
to
do that.
I'm going to pursue, a passion as maybe, juvenile as it may be, but you hark back to what you were as a kid. Like, your love for basketball. If you had the opportunity to work for the NBA, who knows? Maybe that's something that you could fuel that passion still later in life.
If I got to continue with basketball, I probably would be getting punched in my face these days. So.
there you go. But I kind of started a hashtag, and I think it's going to be like the name or whatever I'm going to do. It's going to be what it is. It's 2 Wheels to Cali. So it's hashtag the number 2 wheels, WHEELS.
Got to spell it out for the dum-dums.
The number 2 again, and
America.
then CALI.
So, number 2 wheels, number 2 Cali.
Yes, hashtag 2 Wheels to Cali.
So follow that hashtag on Instagram. You're going to be putting stuff up like every day. You put up a
There's
couple
already-
pictures
yeah,
and you have
there's-
something cool.
There's already a handful of things up on my Instagram. That hashtag will bring you to like 6 or 7 photos of like kind of like some inspirational things, like where my head was at. Some pictures of the bikes getting ready and things. So it's the journey. It's gonna
We're going to want to see your camps and your tents set
yeah,
up.
we're gonna have
all that type
yeah,
of stuff.
we're gonna be
Can you do me a favor with the hashtag? Can you
No
put like
hashes.
can you put like hashtag tell Tony to shut up?
Tony hashtag Tony talks too much.
Yo, if you want, Tash, put us on their 6 Borough podcast
Oh, absolutely.
too, because that would be
Absolutely.
awesome, just so that we could have them up on our
Yeah.
hashtag,
Absolutely.
and it'll be easy for our users that might have like listened to the podcast,
Yeah.
but might not have followed you or whatever it is. They'll be checking them out as well.
Yeah, sure.
That'll be
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, that's technology. I'm able to share that with strangers. So hopefully it'll turn into a really cool project, and people will enjoy, watching it and going through the process.
Yeah,
That's awesome, guys.
should be cool.
Right on.
Well, thank you for coming on. We'll wrap up at that.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you
It
guys.
was a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you guys in the future. I'll probably be out to visit in the next couple of
I
months.
would hope so.
You kidding me?
We have to ride the Pacific Coast Highway up north.
Yeah, I'm thinking that sounds like it's going to be a lot of
I
fun.
think it's a solid,
Mhm.
solid move.
We've been a theme that's been going on lately with the podcast has been road trips to do podcasts.
Okay.
So
Yeah, maybe we'll be doing one from out there.
we're
Yeah.
gonna go.
Phone in.
Yeah, no, man.
come
Go
in,
out there
travel.
in the flesh, man.
Yeah.
We had one of our other guests, a buddy of mine, Caleb Garvey. He lives up in Vermont, and we got invited to come do a podcast up in the restaurant.
Yeah, at the
that he's
restaurant.
working at.
Oh,
So
cool.
we're
I
gonna
love it
make
up
that. We're gonna go make that a little trip. Our
That's
guest
cool.
last night wanted us to come do one in this restaurant. Also,
that's
we're doing
cool.
one in a restaurant tomorrow.
Very cool.
So
Very
it's
cool.
it's become a theme here. So
yeah.
Come
and
out to
I haven't,
California.
and,
Do it.
and
Yeah.
I'm not going to divulge too much, but with me and Ivan, who appeared on the first show, we have something really cool that could be happening with my school bus. That may take us all over the country, so that could be a whole nother thing to follow.
Yeah, Nick
And-
has for anyone that doesn't know, Nick actually has a school bus that he
A
owns.
mini yellow
a mini
school
bus.
So I have a yellow school bus that could turn into another journey. This upcoming year that may take us on the road for
The
the
vessel.
foreseeable future.
Maybe
So-
I might want to come on that. So I'm
We could have guests-
I'm 6'3", but I want to come for the whole trip if I'm coming.
That's it. We could.
I'll crush up. You could scrunch me in a corner, or I'll go in like a full roof rack or something like
Is
that.
this has potential to really go south because this is going to be a whole lot of ashless chaps. This is going to be like
Oh my
the gay
God.
version. It's going to be called the hang bus.
Oh yeah, no, we're pounding